The alley was quiet. Mist curled along the edges of the old cobblestones. The sun hadn't yet broken through, leaving the world in a soft gray haze. A woman moved slowly, her hands wrapped around a worn bag collecting discarded scraps. Her steps were careful, almost invisible, as if the city might forget she was there. No one looked twice. No one cared. Inside a grand house not far away, laughter spilled from crystal chandeliers, echoing across polished floors. The contrast was sharp. Outside, the world moved in silence. Inside, it moved in opulence. And somewhere between the two, a man watched, hidden behind the veil of an ordinary life he had never needed to wear before. He had wealth beyond imagining, yet today he wore gloves that were thin and cracked, shoes that had lost their shine. His hair, once carefully combed, was tucked under a faded scarf. Every gesture, every movement, carried the patience of someone accustomed to observation. The man's daughter-in-law, young and vibrant, passed by without noticing him. She waved to the servants, smiled at the gardener, but the woman in rags remained unseen, just another shadow in the morning fog. Days passed. The man followed quietly, never interfering, never speaking. He watched her kindness, how she stopped to comfort a shivering cat under the street lamp, how she offered her last coin to an elderly man with trembling hands, how she smiled softly at a child who dropped his toy in the mud. No one else saw these moments, but he did. And in them, he found the heart of the woman he had been hoping to understand. It was not grand gestures that defined her. It was the quiet attention, the gentle patience, the way she treated the smallest corners of the world with dignity. There were times she stumbled, times she sighed under the weight of obligations, but never did she turn away from need, from pain, from the overlooked. She moved with humility, not for recognition, but because it felt right. Then came the moment he did not anticipate. His son invited the woman to the house for dinner, celebrating a small achievement at work. She arrived, tired but radiant, unaware that the man she had been passing daily was now sitting at the far end of the table, invisible yet near. The room sparkled with wealth, with silver and glass, yet all he saw was her. How she navigated the grandeur with grace, how she spoke softly to the staff, how she listened to every word, giving value to even the smallest voice. That evening, as others celebrated, he realized the truth. This was not a woman to be judged by appearances, by her background, or by her lack of status. She had strength hidden in kindness, dignity in silence, courage in patience. He could not remain invisible any longer. He approached her quietly, hand extended, and said simply, "I know who you are." She looked up, startled, a question in her eyes. Not fear, not suspicion, just a flicker of wonder. No dramatic revelation, no grand confession. Just the acknowledgement of a soul seen, recognized, valued. And in that moment the barriers fell. She understood that true worth is never measured in gold or titles, but in the unseen choices we make every day, the compassion we extend when no one is watching. And he understood that disguise had not tested her, but had revealed the extraordinary truth already living quietly in her heart. Days turned into weeks and life adjusted in subtle ways. The man, now himself again, let her rise naturally into her place, not through status, but through respect earned silently. Others began to notice her, not because she demanded attention, but because her kindness created ripples that reached even the hardened hearts in the household. Doubts faded. Misunderstandings resolved. What once was overlooked became quietly admired, respected, cherished. And yet nothing had changed about her. She remained gentle, soft-spoken, attentive to the unnoticed corners of life. And the man, who had lived surrounded by riches, and yet never fully understood wealth of the soul, learned a lesson impossible to teach in books or lectures. That greatness often hides behind humility, that kindness can transform destinies, that those who seem overlooked often carry the deepest strength. The city continued to hum, children laughed in the alleys, and somewhere the scent of rain touched the stone pavements. In the house, laughter still echoed, but now, threaded through it, was respect, recognition, and quiet gratitude. She never flaunted her virtues. She simply lived them. And that, more than gold, more than titles, changed everything. If this story touched you, please like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more stories that move the heart. And in the comments, leave the word "seen" if you understood what it means to truly see someone.